This is PWF Empire Live.
It's the best thing going today.
The best insight and analysis on the hottest topics in the world of wrestling happens here. From storylines and news to rumors and reviews, we've got the action covered from bell to bell. Presented by PWFempire.com with your hosts, Charlie Feast, Evan Medina, and J-Dub.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
The match starts now.
PWF Empire is live following Monday Night Raw for the purpose of previewing SummerSlam. This is the biggest party of the summer, and we're going to have a friggin' good time tonight. I guess it's the pregame here on PWF Empire Live. I'm Jay, and I'm joined on the hosting panel tonight by Evan and Steven. What's up, guys?
Hey, Jay, what's going on?
I'm doing amazingly well tonight, and you have to be feeling pretty good, too, because I know you're going to SummerSlam, right?
Yeah, I am going to SummerSlam, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's about time it left California and came to New York. So,
yeah, I do have to say, though, they completely fucked up my plans because I was going to make going to SummerSlam an annual thing, and I'm a lot closer to California than I am New York, so they kind of threw me for a loop here.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for the card, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to be finding out about that tonight because that's why we are here on PWF Empire Live to go down the card match by match, give all of our thoughts on the build-up for the show, and also give our predictions on what we think is going to happen, what we expect to happen at the show, what we want to happen, and then what actually will happen. You know, things tend to work out a little bit iffy when it comes to bringing those things together. But I guess we'll see. We would love it if you guys shared your opinions with us. Let us know your thoughts on the build-up for SummerSlam and your predictions for the show. You can do so in a variety of ways. You can do so on the post on PWFempire.com. We also have the chat on YouTube, which I see right here on my trendy little tablet. What's up to the guys in the chat right now? And you can also do so on Twitter with the hashtag PWF Empire because the conversation continues on and off air. Let's go ahead and get that conversation continued on air, or started on air, with the first match we'll be discussing tonight. This is Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. They will be facing off at SummerSlam. Two upcoming stars in WWE, and I'd say that this match is pretty important for them. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I think this match it has the feeling of a number one contendership feud, even though it's not officially. It has that sort of feeling to me because these two guys are two of the guys that are kind of on the cusp of achieving something right now. I think of all the guys on the roster, it comes down to Cesaro and Kevin Owens, and I don't know if they're prepared to push either of those two into that spot, but nonetheless, given the momentum they have from their feuds with John Cena just a month ago, I think this does seem very much like a number one contendership spot, and I wouldn't be surprised if the winner of this match faced off against the champion at the next pay-per-view.
Both guys need a victory here. There's no question about it, and whoever gets this victory is going to, no question, be placed in a very interesting spot going forward. I'm really looking forward to this one, and to me, this could be match of the night, and I hope they both tear the house down. I hope they go out there and give it all they got, because to me, these two guys are just great talents, excellent wrestlers, and deserve to showcase what they can do in the ring, not only with each other in a match, but in terms of just the talent that they both possess. So to me, this is just a wrestlers wrestling match, so to say. Like, yeah, this is as good as it can get for both of these guys, I think, and whoever is going to end up with the victory, no question it matters. I think there's one guy it matters more for than the other, but obviously we'll get there.
Who would be that guy?
All right, then we'll get there now. That would be Cesaro, at least as far as I'm concerned. I think that guy is riding a really, really big wave of momentum right now.
Yes.
I think the reaction he got on Raw tonight was evident of just how high that momentum is, and that's fantastic. I am really, really glad to see Cesaro getting as over as he is, because it's a guy that many of us have thought is very talented, but just hasn't quite gotten the correct direction to this point. So now we're looking at a moment in time where this is Cesaro's ability to shine. He's shown that he can, and I don't see why he wouldn't win at SummerSlam. I mean, I know Kevin Owens has lost a couple of matches to John Cena and unquestionably has lost a lot of the initial momentum he got when he came up to the roster, but I do think it's more important for Cesaro here, being a guy who's been on the roster for a few years now, to go ahead and get this victory and start to lead to a road of great things for him. I truly see great things.
Yeah, if Cesaro has a direction from the WWE creative team right now, it's straight to the friggin' stars, because I look at that guy, and I talked about this weeks ago, how they're giving Cesaro the fundamentals of what it means to be a babyface in wrestling, and they're laying that foundation to build something upon. And what they have been building, I think it's a great character right now. And I look at Cesaro, and this guy has the makings to be a superstar right now, and I'm glad that he's finally getting the opportunity from the WWE creative team, and they're accentuating his strengths, and they're kind of like massaging those weaknesses, putting him in spots that he can shine. And I think this feud has been a great feature for Cesaro. Kevin Owens, he's as good as he's always been. Every single time I see him, he's putting on some good stuff. Going into SummerSlam, I don't know, because this is one of those things where you hope that this is not a zero-sum game from WWE. We see that very frequently with their feuds, where all people are doing is just trading off overness or popularity or whatever it may be. You hope that both guys can come out of this some way, somehow elevated from where they were previously. And I'm hoping that they could do that at SummerSlam. Whatever the hell you have to do to make that happen, it has to happen. But for this show, we do need one winner, and I am going to go ahead and say that guy will be Cesaro. That's my pick to win this match.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be Kevin Owens.
Why do you think it's going to be Kevin Owens?
I've been suckered into this too many times at this point. I don't, like, the possibility of Cesaro winning a big match doesn't even seem like it's a feasible thing anymore. But, I feel like it's going to be the same story they've been telling, which is Cesaro gets very close, but Kevin Owens gets the victory.
But I think it's very awesome, the fact that you look at this as a big match. So, I mean, in your eyes, probably not awesome for Cesaro, but the mere fact that WWE has done enough to make this feel as if it is important, I think that that's wonderful for these two guys.
I don't know if they've actually accomplished that. I think it feels like a big match almost unintentionally, just because Kevin Owens beat Cena and because Cesaro almost beat Cena. And these two guys were basically competing for the U.S. title, which was basically the biggest, most credible title, and probably still is at this point. And so it almost feels like these two were the number one contenders, and now they're feuding over that spot. And I don't think that was intended. I don't know that there's going to be any major follow-up, but I still wouldn't be surprised if there was, and I'm hoping that there is.
I think the key word there is that Cesaro almost beat John Cena, and I think that's where I think to myself, Cesaro getting this win is just so important, and I actually think they will go that to that distance and will actually give him that victory. I'm not going to be shocked by any stretch of the imagination if Kevin Owens was to win this match, because I can see it going either way, and both guys could use the victory, so it's not going to be detrimental, I don't think, to either one. But I think it would serve Cesaro's purpose better to win this match. I don't know. I mean, this could be a feud that goes multiple months, and, you know, babyface Cesaro could end up getting a victory after Owens beats him initially, so I can see that coming too. But I would think at the big pay-per-view it would be a good thing to have a big four victory for Cesaro, a guy who, to me, has been playing the role of almost winning, almost getting this, almost getting that multiple times, and now can finally actually get that win.
I think this is a very sticky situation because Kevin Owens also faces Finn Balor the night before, and probably will lose to Finn Balor, probably clean. And so if he does, it's almost like Owens seems to be going on a bit of a losing streak too. So it's a really tough situation. I think they should really take Owens off of NXT, because it's putting him in this position where he has to basically job to every babyface.
That could possibly be their the course of action after TakeOver. It's just I think we had to have that rematch, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens with Kevin Owens. I think it's time in NXT after this next show probably will be up, but we're gonna move on now to Randy Orton versus Mr. Money in the Bank. If you guys didn't know, Sheamus, he still has Money in the Bank briefcase. That possibly could come into play later on in the show. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, Randy Orton versus Sheamus. These are two guys that I like, but these are two guys that need to be in an important feud. I think that, I don't know what it is about Randy Orton and Sheamus, but if they aren't like, it's so weird to explain. Basically, they could get boring as fuck very easily, and I think that
it's
they're at that point now.
Yeah, it's because that they're not. It's the old Triple H thing. They're not the guy. They're the guys who work with the guy, and so you can't just
have two guys who work with the guy.
Yeah, then it's just kind of boring.
And a feud with each other.
But because they have a lot of great attributes and there's a lot of potential in both of them, but when you put them together, they don't bring out each other's best strengths. It's like Daniel Bryan is a guy who you put with anyone and people are instantly interested in what he's doing, I think. Randy Orton isn't one of those guys, even though he's a great wrestler. There are plenty of feuds that he goes in that you think he is?
Yeah. Awesome.
You think, right, but you don't think Randy Orton's one of the guys who anything he does is automatically interesting, right?
Yeah, he's definitely not.
Yeah, he's not, and neither is Sheamus, obviously, but both of these guys have potential. Cena's another one of the guys where anything they do is basically interesting. And it's just that they're two of those guys. You put them together and it's like, well, who cares?
I don't give a fuck about this.
Dude, I was just about to ask you, are you one of those who cares?
You know I don't give a fuck about this because I didn't at Battleground and I still don't. They can put on a solid in-ring match and I'm sure they will, but it just, you put these two guys together and it puts me to sleep. I just don't care about this as a feud. It's been done so many damn times over the last few years. And, you know, I mean, even saw a meme, and although some of these memes are you know, a little ridiculous, this one was so accurate by saying, like, man, it must really be 2010 because it just feels like it is 2010 when it comes to this feud because it's something from 5 years ago. I've seen this so many damn times. I don't need to see it anymore, and the fact that it's still going on is just, So, no, I don't care at all about this match.
The fact that Sheamus,
you know what, I'm going to apologize for
even
asking you that question. I got something for you later on in the show, though.
Yeah, you knew the answer before you even asked the question. But I'll still say, I don't dislike either guy necessarily at all.
Cool. They're awesome.
Just together, it's horrible.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's still not a feud. 2 pay-per-views in, and it's still not a feud.
That's the weird thing about it. It doesn't even feel like a feud.
It's not. It's a house show feud, is what it is. It's like these are the two guys that fight each other on the house shows, basically, but except it's on TV for some reason.
So,
you couldn't even tell me why they're fighting.
Are we gonna pick a winner here?
I'm going to be an idiot and say Sheamus, but something tells me Randy's just going to
win. Evan, what do you got?
Nobody wins this match. But I'll go with, we'll go with Randy again. Randy once more defeats Sheamus, even though he's Money in the Bank, briefcase holder, and should get victories at pay-per-views. Randy Orton will go over. I think. That's my pick.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with Orton also. So, consensus among the PWF Empire Live crew on...
No. I still say Sheamus, but...
Oh, you said Sheamus.
I'm probably stupid for saying that, because it's probably going to be Randy, but I'm going to say Sheamus anyway.
Okay. So let's see if we can reach a consensus on this next match then. No, we're not, because we discussed this last week. Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper versus Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. 2/3 of the Shield versus the Wyatt family. You know, they're technically, it was 3 at one point, but who the fuck cares? You know, 2/3 of the Shield versus the Wyatt family. Here we go. So last week we discussed the possibility of a heel turn in this match coming from either Dean Ambrose or Roman Reigns, one of them turning on each other, and you two want to see Dean Ambrose be the one to turn. Now, I'm going to ask you a different question. I know that's what you want, but do you actually believe that it's going to happen in this match?
It's really hard to say. I don't think so. I'm leaning towards no, but I think it's a strong possibility, but I'm going to say no, probably not.
And the thing is, you know, I read that column that'll be posted on PWF Empire Live that was authored by our very own Steven here. I read the column, and I heard what you were talking about last week on the show, all of the makings of a Dean Ambrose heel turn, and the stuff sounds awesome. It really does. And if that's the direction that WWE wants to go in, like they want to turn one of them heel, let Dean Ambrose be that person and let that be the story that is told. But it's just, I don't know if it's going to happen, though. I really don't, because I think that with something like this, they could possibly, like, foreshadow it a little bit. I haven't gotten any sense of foreshadowing from WWE at all. And I don't mean the foreshadowing like, oh, they're friends. Like, of course they're going to turn on people. You know, of course they're going to turn on each other. No, I mean, like, legit storytelling foreshadowing. I haven't seen it.
Well, I mean, yeah, go ahead, Evan.
I was just going to say that I do think that Dean Ambrose will not unlock his full potential until he does turn heel. I think a Dean Ambrose heel turn is absolutely necessary in order to see what Dean can truly do. I 100% think that. But, you know, both him or Reigns could benefit from a heel turn here at SummerSlam. Do I think it's going to happen? Unfortunately, I'm going to have to lean toward no as well. But I have a little more hope than Steven does. I have a little more hope. I can see it happening, and I still think it might. But I would lean more toward no. If it was like a crazy decision you had to make, like, you know, life or death, like make the decision right now, I'd say no. But I'd say it's like 55% no and 45% yes. You know what I'm saying? So it's to me, it's a close deal, because I think that, you know, they kind of have foreshadowed it unintentionally with saying like, oh, they're like family, they're like, they have said that every week. Now it hasn't been as obvious, but I don't think they need to make, like, it's fine if there's no foreshadowing. I kind of wouldn't mind if it's supposed to come out of left field, even though it is kind of a predictable angle that it's either going to be a clean finish with the faces going over. Wyatt has Eric Rowan or whomever come back. Shout out to Eric Rowan and all the guys in the chat who love the boy Eric Rowan. Reverse Sheamus. No. Let's go. 2016 Why? Royal Rumble winner.
What are you talking about? What is this?
It's gonna happen.
Where the fuck am I?
I think it's gonna happen.
Don't ever give up hope.
Don't give up. Yeah,
I never had any hope to.
Eric Rowan is going to spray paint the words "never give up" on and start wearing a ball cap, and I believe it, man. Anyway, Eric Rowan or whoever the hell comes back with the Wyatt family will interfere and help the Wyatts go over, which would be good for the Wyatts to give them some momentum because they could use it. Or there's going to be a heel turn. Those are like the three things I can see happening, and I think the best possibility is still the heel turn. And I'm pretty close on that. I still think it can happen, and it definitely should. And I honestly, both guys can benefit.
Yeah, it is.
See, I found a way. I've thought about this, and I found a way. Like, I'll admit, last week I was just being a mark. I was like, no, they're friends. I like their friendship. Don't do this. Don't break it up. But I could possibly see what you're talking about, Evan, where basically they took the friendship of Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose to the peak of the mountain just to push it off the fucking edge and let it tumble down the other side. And the way that I see it could possibly happen, have the setting where they pretty much talked about this already, how this is going to be warfare. And with Dean Ambrose back in that element, like he was when the Shield was feuding with the Wyatt family previously, like he's back in that element, and he gets that sense of danger. He tastes the adrenaline and things like that, and he just can't let go of it. Like, he loves the taste so much that he just goes wild. And when his mind goes back to those days when he was in the Shield, maybe he could just fly off the hinges, and that could possibly be the way that he turns heel. So there is a story route for WWE to go. It's just that is that going to be the one that they take?
Also, if you think about it, you could always tell when someone's going to turn when there's no more feuds for them left, because if you start thinking like a booker, it's like, okay, who does Dean fight next? Because he's fought every other heel on the roster, basically, except for maybe Rusev. But Dean is one of those guys, like Evan said, he's not going to reach his full potential until he turns heel. And I don't think Dean is like a lifelong heel. I think he's one of the guys who has to turn heel to get his personality, and then turn face, and then his babyface persona will be able to be that much edgier and that much better. He's like Randy in that regard. It's like a
slingshot. You pull him back just to launch him forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys like that. Like, you can't just be a babyface off the bat. Usually you have to go through a heel run where people start to cheer you towards the end, and then you turn. Bryan is one of the guys who never had to do that. But a lot of the other babyfaces that you could think of all went through like a big heel run before they actually broke out as babyfaces.
I don't know. I actually think Bryan did have to go through that, because when he started chanting yes, he was a heel.
Yeah, but that was the catchphrase. He was still over as hell before then.
He was, but I don't know. I think if it wasn't for that heel run that kind of turned into a tweener run with Team Hell No, which turned into the big babyface run, I don't know if he would have gotten as over as he ended up with some of the other fans. I mean, yeah, there were the smart fans like us who would always be like, oh shit, I love Daniel Bryan. I don't know. I think he got even more over because of that heel turn, because I don't think he ever would have started saying yes if he wasn't a heel.
Oh yeah, probably not, yeah. But anyway, I'm pretty sure the Wyatts are going to win. I think Bray and his crew, whoever it is gonna pick up the win.
I'm going to go with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. For life. Yes.
You ship them?
For life.
Yes, I do. Yes. I've been reading Tumblr. I know what that means.
That's your OTP?
I know what that means, too. Yes. Yes, it is. Damn it. Platonic, of course. But, yeah. Evan?
Huh. It's a good question. I'm going to go with Ambrose and Reigns. I'm going to say, like I said, even though I see the 45%, got to go with the 55, and I'm going to say that the faces get the win. Even though the Wyatts need it so much more, and I will be so much more satisfied if they go over.
I'm hoping that this match does take me back to the Wyatt family Shield feels, because those matches from last year, two of the best matches that WWE put on the whole friggin' year. And if I remember correctly, I think they won match of the year. I don't know. I know it did involve the Shield. It was either the match with the Wyatt family or the one with Evolution, but basically the Shield was fucking awesome in 2014. So I'm hoping that even with the departure of Seth Rollins, they can still maintain some of that awesomeness when they get in the ring. Speaking of awesomeness, I don't know if we'll see it in this match, but, I mean, we do have the match here. This Diva Revolution in WWE. All of the ladies will be in this match. This will be a 3-team elimination match. Team Bella versus Team B.A.D versus PCB. Now, here's the thing. I'm a big proponent of women in wrestling and them repairing their image and this whole Diva Revolution. I love it. I can't wait to see the results of all of the work that's being put in. Here's the thing, though. This match scares the shit out of me because I
too
know
many people?
Yes, that's the thing, and not just too many people, too many divas. I'm not being, sexist, but I know WWE and the way that they handle matches like this, because I know that Survivor Series match from, 2013, with all of the divas in there, one of the worst fucking matches I've ever seen in my entire life. And the reason is because... Go ahead.
I was there live because I was in Boston. And, that whole pay-per-view was crap, especially the main event, but that match was awful. I literally was like tuned out after 2 minutes because every elimination was happening off of like the simplest moves, like kick to the midsection, and there would be a pinfall. And I was like, man, it was nice to see a traditional Divas elimination match. I was actually kind of excited about it going into because I was like, man, Divas in an elimination match, that's more than you usually see. But it was completely trash, and it was completely a way to just build up Total Divas or whatever, because that's, I think, when Total Divas was getting started. And oh god, that was an abomination of a match. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's my whole thing about Divas. Like, all of these, when they throw everybody into the damn match, these bullshitty pinfalls where it's like you yank somebody down from the top rope and they hit the mat and taking a regular fucking bump, and that's enough to get pinned. Or, oh, I broke a nail. 1, 2, 3. Like, I hate that. I'm hoping that WWE like wipes that whole reputation clean in this Divas Revolution, and we don't see any of that in this.
No, is the match like Survivor Series where every individual person gets eliminated, or does the whole team get eliminated if one gets pinned?
They haven't clarified that yet, but I'm hoping that it's like they did with the tag team elimination chamber, where it's like one person gets pinned and the whole team gets eliminated. Because if we have to sit through 8 eliminations or however many it's going to be.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of
Or
eliminations.
at least 6. So
I don't think your fears are that well justified. I mean, I don't get me wrong, you're right to be scared, but I think they do seem to be committed to giving them more time. So I don't think that will be a problem. Also,
with 4 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say it's 4 hours, so I do think that this is going to get time. Now, it might still suck because of the reason you said, but I don't think it's going to be one of those short, get everyone pinned in 2-minute matches. I really don't. But it might still be bad. I can't guarantee that it won't be.
And I've seen WWE and how they're handling this Divas division. Divas Revolution. There are some things that they are forgetting because they just go right back to what they usually do. But I'm just hoping that this isn't one of the things that they forget. Like, do them justice. Let them go out there. Let them have a nice match. And, get some legit pinfalls.
I think the Bellas need to win this one. And I think they will because, like I know they're trying to get over the NXT Divas, but it's just really outshining the Bellas, and they're supposed to be sort of the heel group in this whole thing, and they basically have no momentum, so I think they should get a win over all these other NXT call-ups, because otherwise it just looks like they're obsolete, and I don't think they want to do that, because Nikki Bella is actually pretty good.
Yes, she is. And speaking of that, we had JBL and Byron Saxton. They were going back and forth. Had a little spat on commentary because Byron posed the question that if the Bellas go into this match and they lose, does that mean that Nikki Bella is a lame duck champion? And JBL pretty much went off on him and basically said that, no, she's not a lame duck champion because this match doesn't fucking matter. Like, there's nothing on the line here. So damn you, Byron Saxton, for posing a question that could possibly add stakes to this match. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to accentuate the story. Like, what the hell is your problem? Shame on you. But who do you guys got? I know, Steven, you say the Bella Twins, or the Bella, Team Bella, including Alicia Fox. I'm going to go with them as well. I think they need to win this match, and I'm hoping that they do.
Yeah, I think they also need to win this match the most, but I'm going to go with the PCB team. That's who I'm going to say is going to win this match, because I feel like they seem to be the team that WWE really likes the most, from what I've gathered, not only just through the segments and the features and everything, and they're supposed to be the revolutioners, and I feel like they'll end up going over, and they're the biggest babyface team out of the 3. But I do agree, the Bella, I don't know why Neville is on my mind here.
We're getting there soon.
We'll talk about that one. But the Bellas and Alicia Fox, no question, they do need to win the most, I think. And Team B.A.D, to me, is really good, but they're kind of just not going to get that win. I don't feel like. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll be the one team that surprises you and end up getting the victory. But I think this can be a good match. Could be a bit of a clusterfuck, but I'm not worried about it getting time. I think it most definitely will. And I'm going to go with the PCB team. And certainly, I'm a big fan of what they do in the ring, but I'm not a big fan at all of what they do with when it comes to their sayings and their little things. Oh god, that stuff is cringeworthy. Like tonight on Raw, after the Sasha Banks and Nikki Bella match, which was pretty good, you had those,
yes,
whatever the hell they were saying backstage. I was just shaking my head and like, man, this is dumb. They just,
at least they weren't on commentary though.
Oh god, I know. It just feels cheesy. Like, let them. I want them to be a little more serious than that. I don't know. And I like them all as wrestlers, but I think they'll end up getting over or going over here because they're the face team, and I feel like they're the ones that are supposed to be the head of the Revolution, I guess.
Next up, we are going to discuss Neville and his partner, Stephen Amell, the star of the CW hit show Arrow, versus King Barrett and Stardust, or should I say the Cosmic King Barrett. I really like that. But yeah, we do have the star of Arrow who's going to be competing in this match. I think the big question here is he going to be in the Arrow costume? Or at least that's a big question for me. I think that would be, he has to be, right? With all of this talk about the
I think
Green
he
Arrow,
will.
he has to be.
I think he will. I think it's just a matter of, is he allowed to? I don't see why not. I'm sure he's going to be in it.
Yeah, I have to say I really love the superhero flair that they've given this feud, and the way that they have like the comic book panels, and they put that over Stardust and Barrett and all of that good stuff. Yeah, I guess what we really have to go off of from this is Stephen Amell's appearance last week, and if we're judging the build-up for this match based off of that appearance, then it's been awesome. This has been a very well done angle with the celebrity in WWE, and I can't wait to see how everything turns out.
Well, don't forget, it's not just him. It's still Neville versus Stardust, and I think that's the main feud, regardless of Stephen Amell being there. And I think the finish will be Neville going over Stardust with help from Stephen Amell.
To me, this is one of the best utilizations of a celebrity, as we talked about on the show last week. Honestly, the feud I had zero, and I mean zero, interest in before the Stephen Amell segment from last week. Now, I'm not saying that the comic book idea is bad or anything, because I personally like the comic book idea. I like the filter on over the screen when they were replaying stuff and everything. And I think that they should have done a lot more with this feud than they did. I don't think there was anywhere near as much build up or anything like that going forward. I mean, you had Neville one week fighting Rollins for the belt, and then the next week going back into this feud. So it was just kind of all over the place. But once the Stephen Amell thing happened, I was like, wow, this is nice. I actually can look forward to this because, yeah, they're using a celebrity on the pay-per-view, but it's a celebrity that I can actually like and say, wow, I was impressed with what he did just on Raw, so I look forward to this match for that reason. But I have no reason to think that Stardust and Barrett would go over here, so I will definitely say Stephen Amell and Neville.
Yes, this one is probably the easiest pick out. Not even probably, definitely the easiest pick out of the friggin' bunch. It's going to be Stephen Amell and Neville getting the victory here, of course, via the red arrow. So green arrow, red arrow. I think that's pretty much it on this match. We're going to move now into our championship circle. We're going to be discussing the championship matches that will be taking place at SummerSlam, and we're going to start off with one that I know that Evan is really excited to see. This is what I was talking about earlier in the show.
The Big Show.
Yes, this is the Big Show. This is the show here. This is going to be Ryback defending his Intercontinental Championship versus Big Show and Miz. Evan, tell us how excited you are.
Oh my God. Okay.
I know how much you hated the fact that we didn't get to see it, previously, but they did this specifically for you. Like, they're giving you this match. I think I remember Miz, he cut a promo saying that I'm doing this for Evan.
Right after, yeah, I know. Right after Battleground was done, they reassured me that this match was going to be taking place eventually, and I was like, But please, Miz, please, please, Vince, please, Trips,
I'm still
anybody.
waiting for the Brodus Clay match from WrestleMania 29. Where is that?
Don't hold your breath on that one, man.
Okay. If you thought I didn't care about Randy Orton versus Sheamus, you got another thing coming, because this one is okay. I want to see Randy Orton versus Sheamus in comparison to this. That is how bad this triple threat Intercontinental Championship match is, in my opinion. I do not care at all. This week's Raw was that much more evident that this match doesn't fucking matter, because Ryback cleanly pins Miz in the middle of the ring. There's no reason for me to care about this. They should have just left it Ryback and Big Show, because that was the only way I was ever going to have any interest in this in any way, shape, or form. Ryback is he's in a really solid position right now. He's very over, and this could be a really good Intercontinental title run, but it has been anything but that, not because of the fact that he was out for a few weeks, but because of the fact that this feud that he has been a part of, I guess. It doesn't even feel like it's even a feud. It's just kind of there.
It's more of a feud than Randy versus Sheamus.
It is, but I will say when it comes to the pay-per-view match, I would much rather see Randy Orton versus Sheamus than this, because I think this will suck, and I was so glad it wasn't at Battleground, and I don't give a damn who wins, to be honest, but I'm going to say Ryback retains the belt. That's all I got on this.
See, I think something that they should have done, they should have, kept us abreast of what was going on with Ryback while he was off with the injury. They forced Roman Reigns on TV almost every fucking week when he was out with his injury, doing those via satellite medical updates where he said the same fucking thing week after week after week. Why didn't we get that with Ryback? Let us know what's going on. Make sure we don't forget about the guy. But now that we are here, I don't give one single fuck. I don't give an iota of a fuck about this feud. I have not since the beginning, because I think that the roots of this feud are completely ridiculous. The fact that Miz and Big Show came completely out of nowhere to become number one contenders for the championship, and out of everything that was going on with John Cena, the way that he was defending the championship and he was adding prestige to the championship, I look at this one and there's nothing there. As much as I like Ryback and as much as I want him to succeed in WWE, I don't see too much to latch on to in this feud here. But I will say, though, as someone said in the chat, I think it was Orbits, he says Miz is gold. I love the Miz. When he's on the mic and annoying the hell out of people, I think that that's, for lack of a better word, or the perfect word to use, actually. It's awesome. Yeah. So, Steven, what are you thinking about this feud, this heated rivalry for the Intercontinental Championship?
I think Big Show might actually win. I don't know why. I just feel like they want to throw a curveball somewhere, and I think Big Show winning the title might be that curveball.
I actually think you're onto something with that. I can see it, because Big Show wins those matches you don't expect him to win, like when he won the world title from Sheamus and everyone was like, huh? So I mean, anything can happen. So I do agree, Big Show wins some really random matches sometimes. But
I actually wouldn't mind, because I really like the Big Show when he's a champion. I think that's not a bad spot, despite the fact that he's the Big Show.
Well, and again, I think there's a hell of a decent story to tell between Big Show and Ryback. I just think Miz being in there it has no point. Now, I like Miz too. I don't think that he's bad or terrible or crap, I'm not saying any of that. I just think his placement in this feud is random. It is thrown in there, and he has zero credibility going into this match by losing clean on 6 nights before. Why would anybody buy into this match and be like, I think Miz is going to win? Okay, yeah, he's a heel and he can use tactics. That's a fair point. But he didn't use any of those tactics here on Raw. He hasn't shown that he can do anything. He just gets his ass laid out every week. There's no reason for me to think that Miz would win this match. And Big Show is on commentary and pretty much didn't do anything. He acted like a babyface on commentary and then suddenly turned heel once Ryback won the match. So, I mean, for crying out loud, I don't care about this crap at all.
See, I think Big Show, whenever he's on commentary, he forgets that he's a wrestler and he goes into color commentator mode. I think he's auditioning for a job, and judging by his commentary, I say he's got the fucking job, because I really enjoy Big Show every time he's on commentary. If at one point he does retire, I could definitely see him in that spot.
Yeah, I know. I'm not dissing his commentary tonight because I actually think he did a good job. But again, he was much more of a babyface on commentary, and then kind of
he forgets he's a wrestler.
Yeah, with all the face and heel turns, I can't really blame him for not knowing what the hell he is anymore. So
yeah, I think he actually did an interview saying he wakes up confused, like what's going on today. Yeah, it's a great burden to carry. I'm quite sure. But I guess they did kind of set the tone for what could possibly be a Miz victory in this match, because they said, those two guys, Ryback and Big Show, could possibly cancel each other out. Miz slide his way into a win, but I don't know. I'm going to go with either. See, I'm like the opposite of you guys. I'm going with either Ryback or Miz. I can't see the Big Show winning, but I don't know. I could possibly see the Big Show winning if that's the route that WWE is going this Sunday. But another championship match that we're going to be seeing this Sunday, it will be a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. And the teams that will be featured in this match, the New Day versus Team 1 that's not New Day, Team 2 that's not New Day, and Team 3 that's not New Day. So, yeah. New Day.
And yeah, New Day's winning. I hope. Because,
me too,
because
man.
I really like the primetime players, but they really haven't earned what they have. It just always feels like they haven't earned it. They didn't go on a journey. I mean, unless you want to count their career as a journey, but still, they haven't gone on a legit storyline journey. They just kind of won.
I personally was disappointed in the way that they won the championship, because I thought it was just a random kind of a throwaway moment, to be honest. I think that they should have won. I would like them to have won the belts here at SummerSlam and have New Day, like I mentioned in the last show, continue to use their tactics and continue to get victories over them, but for primetime players to not, be persistent on it and eventually overcome that odds, have a journey, as Steven just said, and then win the belts at SummerSlam and make a big feel-good moment for primetime players. I think that would have done a lot more and been a much better story to tell. I think this Fatal 4-Way match is kind of just there. It's not to say it won't be good quality, because I certainly think it will be an enjoyable match. And I honestly like all four of these teams. If you take the damn masks off Los Matadores, I think that Primo and Epico were a great team. I just don't like the Matadores gimmick at all. Lucha Dragons are an excellent team. They just are kind of in no man's land. New Day is the best damn thing that's happened to the tag division in a long time, and I think the Primetime Players have always been one of the most enjoyable tag teams over the couple of years that they've been around. However, I don't think they had anywhere near as much of a good journey to those belts as they should have as babyfaces, so that was really disappointing. But overall, I guess I'll say, I don't know, my two picks would be PTP retaining or New Day winning, and I think New Day wins the belts here, because I don't see Lucha Dragons. I don't see Lucha Dragons with it, and Matadores, no way. So, like I said, it's really down to those two teams, in my honest view. So, I guess I'll say I think New Day will win the belts.
Yeah, I can't see any other option here other than New Day winning, because these teams pale in comparison to the New Day. As much as I like the primetime players and I like what they're about, it's just that New Day overshadows the entire division. It's like the primetime players, they just blend in with everyone else. It's like New Day is so large, they just cast a shadow over everyone else. I think that WWE really needs to bring back those little videos that primetime players used to do, where they make fun of people and stuff like that, just to give them something that's unique to them and make them be remembered by people, because I think they're entertaining as hell. And maybe that's the reason why they had them on commentary so much, but we're going to need something else to add on too, because you forced me into this position where I'm like, no one can win this match other than the New Day. We have to see them as champions, because they're the most entertaining things going on by a mile. Alrighty, next up we are going to be discussing the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match and also the United States Championship match. This will be Seth Rollins versus John Cena. As I said, both titles will be on the line in this match, and something that I didn't even really think of, and someone asked me on Twitter, they're like, how the hell could you not think of John Cena And if he wins this match, he'll become a 16-time world champion. The reason why I wasn't thinking about it is because I despise Seth Rollins' character so fucking much that anything else that was going to happen in this match just didn't matter at all. Plus, we also had the big distraction of John Cena getting his nose shattered by Seth Rollins. But he made his return to Monday Night Raw tonight. They had a contract signing. Seth Rollins called John Cena, what did he call him, poison or a disease or something like that, and Seth Rollins was the cure, and John Cena called Seth Rollins a bitch, and I think he talked about his mama too. So
he said he would be the answer to a trivia question, which I thought was a great insult.
Yes, he had a lot of great lines there. He was comparing the relationship between Ric Flair and Triple H to Triple H and Seth Rollins, and he said the one big difference is Triple H never was Ric Flair's bitch, and this Sunday I'm going to make you mine. Awesome promo from John Cena. But
someone said in the chat to look at Cena's Twitter. He wrote, "Call up the interwebs. Sounds impossible, but tell them they're about to hate me 16 times more than they already do."
I love when John Cena gets cocky. I fucking love it. Like, own your position. You're the face that runs the place. Damn it, own that. And I loved what he did on Monday Night Raw because he basically took all of that BS that Seth Rollins was spewing out of his mouth and threw it right back in his damn face. Because Seth Rollins, he went out there and as great as Seth Rollins' mic skills are, like I said last week, the guy has no fucking credibility in my mind whatsoever. I listen to what he says and I don't believe a damn word of it. And what he was saying, it has been said before about John Cena in different variations, but John Cena came back and he returned fire for Seth Rollins. So we are presenting with a very interesting situation going into this double championship match on Sunday.
John Cena laid the law down in that promo. That was excellent. To me, that contract signing was excellent. I love that there was no brawl, no physicality. It wasn't needed. It didn't call for it. Cena laid the law down, said everything he needed to say, and it was greatly done. That's the kind of promo I want to see out of John Cena a lot more often. Not so much of the humor, not so much of the I'm an underdog, but just being straight up. And I think Rollins cut a really good promo beforehand. I mean, Cena may have burned him and come out as the victor of the promo segment, so to speak, but I think Rollins did a great job beforehand as well. So this was a really good segment. To me, it was the highlight of Raw, the best segment of the night, in my honest opinion.
Yep.
And Cena laid the law down very, very well here. So, yeah.
Now this match. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do?
I'm going to say that nobody wins. It's going to be some fuckery. Like, it's going to be some sort of double win or double loss or some bullshit. Because I don't see Rollins beating Cena because I might be able to see it if it wasn't for the U.S. title, but it is. I don't think they're going to take the U.S. title off Cena to give it to Rollins. But I don't necessarily think they want to give Cena the world title either right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cena did win, but I do think it's going to be some sort of double loss or double win, and both of them are just going to retain their respective belts.
You know what? I want Seth Rollins to win this match. Because, on Monday Night Raw, he was talking about if I win and I become a double champion, they're going to build a statue. Like, I want him to win so they can build that statue so I can go throw eggs at it. That's why I want.
Well, if they build the statue, it's just going to, someone's going to mess it up the next day or the next week because...
Me!
Well, you're going to run in the ring and they're going to basically tackle you to the ground before you get there.
I can handle... I got that. I'm a trained fighter, okay? I got that. But, seriously, I really like the flair that they added, and I see what I did there. I like the flair that they added with bringing the World Championship tally into the mix. I thought that was awesome. I love that layer added to the story because that makes this match feel so much bigger. And I mean, it was a big match already, but talking about the implications, the historical implications of this match, and John Cena possibly tying Ric Flair's record for most world championships. I think that that's awesome, and I'm going to go ahead and say this. If it was up to me, John Cena would be tying that record this Sunday. That's my pick to win.
See, I don't mind it, honestly. It's just that I don't want Cena to be the guy to beat Rollins, because Rollins has been this conniving heel, and he's screwed over so many people. I just want it to be basically either Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, or Brock Lesnar, and anyone else I won't accept, because they built it up too long to just give it to Cena,
I like where you're coming from, Steven. I really do, and honestly, I think you made a good point when it comes to the whole possibility of there being some kind of screwball BS, and that is exactly what we do not need at SummerSlam, because we have had so much of that over the last number of months and arguably years at big pay-per-views and bigger events and big matches and whatever. The last thing I want to see is a screwy finish to this match. I want a clean damn finish. 1, 2, 3, clean finish. And honestly, if Seth Rollins was booked the way he should have been and was the credible, solid heel champion who was an architect that came out there, used his tactics to win matches but wasn't afraid of a goddamn challenge and was not afraid of a damn thing, as he should be, because Seth Rollins has nothing to be afraid of. He's an architect. He's a smart individual. If he's as smart as he, builds himself up to be, then why the hell would he be so damn scared? So to me, if he was booked well as a WWE champion, I would want Seth Rollins to win this match. I still do want Seth Rollins to win this match, but I would say that I think Seth Rollins has a chance in this match. But I'm going into this match, and I don't believe for 1 second that Seth Rollins will beat John Cena if there's a clean, straight-up finish. I can see J&J Security or Kane interfering and helping Rollins retain. I can see all these different crazy things going on. But if there is going to be a clean finish, John Cena will win this match and be a 16-time world champion. 100%.
You just said something that I totally forgot about, which is Kane, and he could very well be the plot device they pull out because they love to use him.
And it's going to be something. It's going to be something. Like, I sit here and I say, I want John Cena to win this match, but see, here's this thing that you used to say on the show, Evan, about the overwhelming predictability of John Cena in matches. When I look at this
That's
match,
my line.
I see an overwhelming predictability, but it's on the other fucking side. I know it's going to be some type of bullshit, some type of fuckery that ensures that Seth Rollins will be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion when everything is said and done. And I think that I really have a great disdain for that, because I see that the tide has shifted away from John Cena in this, I guess you can call it the internet wrestling community, whatever the hell you want to call it. But I hate it so much, because I look at Seth Rollins and John Cena and I say one of those guys is a great champion. One of those guys has been very refreshing. Every time I see him on TV, he's doing great things. He's a part of compelling stories and just interesting shit that's happening. And one of those guys, or should I say the other guy, is Seth Rollins. Because he isn't the fucking interesting one. He isn't the refreshing one. He isn't the great champion. All of the stuff that surrounds Seth Rollins, it's just a dark cloud of bullshit. And I'm so tired of it. And I get whatever. People have their opinions. I'll give you that. But it's just that we'll sacrifice John Cena, and it's throw him to the wolves, and we're going to bring Seth Rollins up to the mountaintop just because we don't like John Cena, and we don't like what he's doing, and we don't want him to become a champion. Shit, I want an interesting champion. I want a legit champion. I want a credible champion. And if John Cena is that guy, then damn it, give him the title. I don't have any kind of stakes in Seth Rollins keeping the fucking championship, especially in the character that he has right now. Take it from him.
John Cena is not going to be the U.S. He's not going to be the type of champion with the WWE title that he is with the U.S. title. That's the problem, because he's so interesting right now.
Could it be any worse than what we have right now?
Okay, you're right about that. I'm not going to lie, but it's just that it's not going to be much better. I'll say it'd be equal in the fact that it's boring, because we've seen Cena in the world title picture. The reason why he's so interesting right now is because he's in the U.S. title picture, mixing it up with basically everyone else. And so that's really interesting and new. But if he wins the world title, that's all gone. And I'm surprised. One second. I'm surprised that you're so, like, you want to hold on to Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, but you don't want to hold on to Cena being in the U.S. title mid-card, because that's awesome.
But it's like, I guess lesser... I don't know. See, I'm not one of those people that's, like, anti-John Cena in that top tier in WWE. I look at it as a case-by-case basis. If the storyline that I'm getting is good with him this time around, then I'll roll with it. But I will say that the reason that John Cena has been refreshing is because he's been in a different position in the card, working with different people. So it's kind of like WWE has a lot to work with here, and they're in a bit of a bind, and it's going to be interesting to see how they work their way out of it. And I mean, there are options out there.
Again, like I was saying before, I would want Seth Rollins to win this match so much more if he was a lot more interesting. And again, I have been anti-Cena, and I don't want to see him with the belt. I do agree with someone in the chat who just had said that, I want something new. I want new champions. I don't want the same thing I've been getting the last 10 years. I couldn't agree more. But the problem is WWE hasn't generated any of those stars, those beautiful things called stars that are supposed to emerge from every generation. We're still riding on the coattails of that ruthless aggression stars in Orton, in Cena, in some of those guys. Like, what's the biggest star that's come out of the last 5 years? Fucking Sheamus? I mean, come on.
It's been
now.
CM Punk.
Well, CM Punk, okay, that's fine. But I mean, who's in the company right now? That's more what I'm talking about. But I do agree with you. Yes, CM Punk, big star. Daniel Bryan had small runs, but again, gets injured. So there's that. And it's like, there's nothing new that you've really been getting. So to have Cena win the belt again isn't exciting at all. But it's a hell of a lot better than having a guy who's champion that doesn't have the damn credibility, and that honestly has had such a bad title run. So yeah, Cena winning will feel refreshing at first, but I think Steven hit the nail on the head when he said that it's not going to be as refreshing or as good long term as the U.S. title run, because he's not going to face those guys. You're not going to see him having matches with necessarily Owens and Cesaro, even though he should be having matches with those guys. Those are the guys he should be putting over for the world title. There's no question about that. This reign of Cena's should be a defining moment for someone. If somebody big doesn't end, like new and big, doesn't end up winning the championship from John Cena, meaning the world title, assuming he wins it. I know we're a lot of assumptions here. But if he does win this title, somebody new needs to win that belt from him. That's what I thought with the U.S. title, and I still wish that was happening. I really do. But they don't have other options for Rollins to face at SummerSlam, and so what's happened many times is going to happen again, and it's just not all that surprising, really. So
yeah, and this isn't WWE's thing. I mean, it isn't John Cena's thing. It's WWE's, because I look over the landscape of WWE, and I see 3 contenders for the World Championship: John Cena, Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar. That's it. And they all debuted, 13 years ago?
I'd put Kevin Owens in there, to be honest with you.
No.
He beat John Cena clean. Like, no matter what happens, he beat John Cena clean. To me, he already won the world title, because that's bigger than winning the world title.
I don't know. I'm still gonna have to wait and see on Kevin Owens. I think that if they wanted to possibly go there, like if we rewrite history a little bit, go back in time and maybe avoid some other things that happened, and then you want to take him down a different route. But Kevin Owens, where he is right now, I don't see it. I don't see it at all for him.
There's been no conscious, continuous effort to build somebody up to be a world champion level caliber star. There's a ton of guys on that roster right now who have that capability, and guys like Owens.
There has been one, but it failed.
Oh yeah, Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah, well, let's see where that.
You can't really blame them. I think they were gonna pull the trigger, but they said, okay, well, it's too soon. And I still think they're going to. I still think Roman Reigns is winning at WrestleMania 32. In the main
I've just
event.
never seen a point in time in WWE's history. I've been watching for a long time. I've never seen a point where there's been so much talent on that roster, yet there's so few people who are in the main event. So few or are really in the main event. Even if they main event a pay-per-view, they're not really in the main event. Like, Dean Ambrose isn't really a main eventer. Yeah, sure, we can say all day that it's a shame that he went from main eventing a couple of months ago to now being in a, mid-card hell or whatever we want to call it. But let's be honest, was he ever really a main eventer? No, he wasn't. And that's where my problems lie with the current WWE product. Because there's so much talent.
He was
There's
a main
so
eventer
much talent.
when he was in the Shield.
Okay, that's fine to say, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Because, look, those were some main event quality matches.
They sure were. They sure were. But again, that's not how it is anymore. Things have changed. Yeah. And that's what sucks. But you have guys that they start to pull the trigger on, like even Kevin Owens, and they ultimately end up still losing. And it's just like, why? Why not just pull the trigger? Why not take a risk? WWF, I say that with emphasis, took a shit ton of risks in the late 90s, and they ended up winning that damn Monday Night War and became the empire that they are today because they took risks on guys. Because there were guys who just did something and they ran with it instead of just going with the same old shit. If they always went with the same old shit, then Hogan would have been a 20-time champion. I mean, come on. Or whoever was there.
For it now.
Still training for WrestleMania 32, brother.
I don't know. Hell, WWE, with how they're trying to sell out the place, they just might go back.
It's got to be Hulk Hogan versus The New Day, brother.
I just thought about that. You know what? We're going to move on. Dolph Ziggler made his return to WWE tonight on Raw, and he will be facing off versus Rusev, and they'll have their ladies accompanying them to the ring. But it's going to be Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. I was thinking that they may want to go in the route of a mixed tag match, but we get a singles match from the guys here. And this is going to be maybe the conclusion of Degrassi, The Next Generation, featuring Ziggler, Rusev, Lana, Summer Rae.
I think Rusev is going to win, and I think they're going to abort this whole Lana face thing. Like, I think Lana's going back with Rusev, and they're just going to pretend this never happened.
I don't know. She's getting some big reactions, though. And
Is she?
The way that I look at it, it's so funny because with all of this Diva Revolution talk going on, the most over female on the roster just may end up being Lana.
No, not on the current trajectory. I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, she went from being the most over diva, and now she's basically like, who? Lana? Oh yeah.
Did you hear that reaction on tonight? She got a really good reaction.
All right. Well, maybe today was the only time, but I can't recall this being the quality of her reactions any other week.
Okay, so this match.
This one.
It's going to be a good match, though.
Nice
like as much as we don't like the build, it's going to be a great match.
Yeah,
I think it can definitely be good. Yeah, and I think the return of Ziggler here tonight was much needed, no question. The Mark Henry Rusev stuff was more than enough for me to just be like, okay, don't care. It's too bad because again, like a Mark Henry character could be something solid for the mid card right now, but instead there's no reason to believe he would ever beat Rusev, considering Rusev's beat him probably 10 or 12 times by now. Nobody's as bad as Jack Swagger. He's probably getting beaten by Rusev for about 30 times at this point.
They're probably having a match right now just because.
Yep, yeah, just cause. But I actually think Lana has been enjoyable to watch, and yeah, she's gotten some solid reactions, and I originally think this could have even been a mixed tag match, but with all the tag matches we have on this card, it's actually refreshing that it's not. So Rusev and Ziggler put on a pretty good match here. As far as who goes over, Rusev could use a freaking win. As far as I think Rusev really needs it, so I'm gonna go with Rusev.
I'll go with Dolph Ziggler. I don't know.
You don't seem very invested in this one. So I don't know.
No, because I honestly didn't even think about who is winning this match. I'm still stuck on the fact that Dolph Ziggler forgot to tan his back on Raw. So, but yeah, I guess that shows that he's ride or die for Lana. He's backstage rubbing on that self tanner, and then he heard Lana. He just got that sense that she needed his help, and he said, "Fuck it," and just dropped it halfway through and ran down to the ring. So yeah. Nice stand-up guy there, Dolph Ziggler. So that's why I'm going to pick you to win, because of your virtue and your morals. Yeah, you're an awesome guy, Dolph Ziggler. You deserve to win here. Now we're going to move on to the main event of SummerSlam. This will be Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. The match that they say was too big for WrestleMania. 16 months in the making? Going to see these guys square off once again. The last time they competed in a match, Brock Lesnar ended the streak. This time, who knows what's going to happen. But we know what happened on Monday Night Raw. Undertaker got the last word, and it looks as if he has some momentum going into SummerSlam. Now, if we judge this based off of the same standard that was set for WrestleMania, I guess this means Undertaker is winning, right? Because I remember Brock Lesnar, he came out, he F5 The Undertaker, and that led him to victory at WrestleMania. So
this one's really hard to call. It's honestly, I have no idea who's winning. I could say I think Brock Lesnar should win, but I don't know if he will. I think The Undertaker getting his win back wouldn't be the end of Brock Lesnar. It would just make them even. But I still think Brock Lesnar needs to win more because, somehow he's lost momentum. I don't know how. I'm not sure where exactly that happened. But somewhere along the line, I guess it was against Rollins because that feud was just not very good.
Getting caught up in WWE's bullshit. That's where he lost momentum.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that Undertaker is too old to go to Suplex City because I'm getting tired of Suplex City, and I'm getting tired of that style of Brock Lesnar match. I think it was good for the Cena match, and it was even okay for the Reigns match, but I really want Lesnar to go back to this kind of MMA-style matches that he used to fight, like his first one against Cena. And I think that's what this will be more of, not Suplex City, because I think Undertaker would probably die if he had to go to Suplex City. Which makes it strange for Paul Heyman to promise that. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I've said from the very beginning that I don't think this story needs a redemption piece at all. It still makes absolutely no sense in the story for Brock Lesnar for Undertaker to have come back and to have a match with Bray Wyatt and beat him, be in the same building as Brock Lesnar when he was defending his WWE Championship that night, not do a damn thing about it, and then wait until Battleground to actually make his mark.
Well, look, he was planning on it, but Seth Rollins beat him to it. That's why. He was planning on it, and then all of a sudden...
He said, the young kid just beat me to it. I couldn't quite get there fast enough. But no, I see. I don't give a damn about the confidence thing. For crying out loud, the only thing Undertaker should care about, if we're going along the same storyline of, hey, my streak was ended, and that's the biggest thing Undertaker had for his legacy, why would there have ever been anything going on in between?
There's a great storyline reason for this, and Paul Heyman explained it. He said that Undertaker initially wanted to face Brock Lesnar for this year's WrestleMania, and it wasn't happening, so that's why he had to interfere in the Battleground match. So basically, the reason why he didn't interfere in the WrestleMania match was because at that point he was still trying to lobby for the Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania 32. When he couldn't get that, then he basically had to resort to dirty tactics.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. I still agree with you that it's kind of like it's still a Deus Ex Machina that they had to pull out from last time.
I just feel like it's kind of scraping the ball. I'm not saying you are doing this. I just think that that reasoning is scraping the bottom of the barrel in order to give us an actual, excuse for why this is like gonna work, because it just still doesn't, and there's still no reason for this to be happening, in my opinion. I don't even think they really needed to go this far in the first place. Never mind going this far in such a kind of disconnected manner. But regardless, Brock Lesnar needs to win this match. There is no doubt in my mind Brock Lesnar should go over 100%. He should go over in this match.
Yeah,
but
he has to win.
But, there's always that. You have to think to yourself, well, Taker getting the redemption angle leading to the WrestleMania 32 match, no matter what it is likely. I think that there should be some type of... If there's going to be an interference in any of these damn matches, it should only be in this one. And it should be something like a Sting interference against Taker, and Lesnar going over because of that. And maybe that's not the strongest victory for Brock Lesnar, but I don't care. That is starting the build-up between the match we've all wanted to see. The in-ring quality-wise in 2016 isn't going to be great, but is going to be amazing based off of storytelling and based off of...
you're referring to?
Maybe you
a
don't
lot of
feel
people
the same
have
way.
wanted to see it. Like, to be honest, it's been on everyone's dream
yeah.
match list. It's too
It
late,
is.
but look, it's the fact that it can still happen is, to me, a reason to do it.
It's like the childhood dream of all wrestling fans has one thing that's never been fulfilled, and it is Sting versus The Undertaker. And they can be 55, 60 years old. I don't care. I am still going...
Right there.
I don't care. I am still going to enjoy that match and be emotionally invested in it 100%. And I will admit it is 100% only because of the fact that they are two of my all-time favorite wrestlers, and because it's two of my childhood, heroes in the wrestling industry going at it for the first time ever. So, yes, it's only because I'll be marking out like a child. I have no problem admitting that. Match-wise, it would... There's no chance it would be amazing. I'm not saying it would be, and I wouldn't have no expectations. In 2008, it would have been 100 times better than it would be in 2016. But I still
So you're willing
want
to
to see it.
sacrifice Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker for Undertaker versus Sting? Because I remember,
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. So that's
I
what
was
you're
just
willing to do?
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Of course. Yeah, 100%. Because Brock can still have a match. We can still do Brock Rock next year. There's still multiple possibilities.
Oh gosh, I don't want to see Brock Rock.
For WrestleMania 32 and for Brock Lesnar. And he'd still get a victory here or whatever. And then you're getting an entire match that everyone has always wanted to see. And if there's any way for Undertaker to go out, it's in a match against Sting.
So, Steven, I want to go to you because I remember you saying at Battleground, like WWE worked themselves out of a corner with having Undertaker interfere in that match. And it's kind of like with... I think you said something to the effect of they have to make sure they don't work their way into a corner with this one too.
Yeah, I did say something like that.
You said this match couldn't have interference, right?
I said it's going to be very difficult. And because for that reason, it's just kind of screwy if you have to bust out a Deus Ex Machina to save yourself from the Deus Ex Machina that you busted out last time. So it's just gonna leave a bad taste in people's mouth if they have to resort to that. I don't think they have to. I think Brock Lesnar can go over Taker clean and it won't affect Taker, especially if Taker puts up a good fight. And I think then after that you bring out Sting to basically stare down the Undertaker and say, look, you couldn't do it. I'm the Grim Reaper here. You carry yourself as the Grim Reaper, but now I've come to take you out, or something like that. And then you have some sort of double retirement match at WrestleMania 32. I mean, to me that would be fine because, especially look, if Undertaker wins, then it looks stupid because Sting can't match up to the Undertaker. He lost to Triple H and he looked like a bitch afterwards because he shook his hand. So right now, the only way Sting could ever look credible against The Undertaker is if The Undertaker loses to Brock Lesnar.
So it's just a race to the bottom.
Yeah, and
who gets there faster?
And to be honest, I think that's a better story to tell because then it's like these are two guys who they passed their prime, but they both still have something left to prove, and it's against each other. And I think that's a slightly better story than
Yeah, and someone in the chat says respect the legend. Like, to me, the only way you respect the legend is if they have that match. That is the legend given to you in a match. And it may not be the prettiest damn thing in terms of in-ring quality, but the storytelling could be there, and it could be a match that you will never forget. Good or bad, it'll be a match that at least we won't have to say, oh, damn, I wish that match happened. At least it would have a shot at happening. I don't give a damn if they're old. I really don't.
Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair was one of the greatest matches of all time, and Ric Flair couldn't wrestle a great match at that point.
I mean, now it's still Shawn Michaels, though. So.
Yeah, it was, but I think this match wouldn't be as bad as people are imagining it to be, because Sting can still do a good match. Undertaker could still probably do a good match. We saw one bad match from him, which was against Lesnar, and that was because he had a concussion. So there's really no evidence to say that Taker is done. He had a fine match against Bray Wyatt. So they both can still go. So to me, it'd be a total waste not to do this. Like, the time is like, this is the last possible chance you have.
And they're in Texas. It's like
perfect.
Yeah. It's just
man,
perfect.
It is perfect. And if they forego that, they're in Texas. Like, they're just dumb. They're stupid.
Exactly. Yep.
We shall see. Is this going to be the start of it at SummerSlam? I don't know. I guess we have to watch the match and see what direction WWE takes. But for PWF Empire Live tonight, that's going to be it for us. And Evan and I will see you guys again on the post-show review of SummerSlam. Steven won't be there because he'll be at SummerSlam. And if you have half as good a time as I did at the show last year, you're going to have a friggin' blast.
Oh, I think it'll be a great show. No matter who the winners are, there's just too many good matches on this card because, like I've said before, they're all going to be competing with each other. Cena Rollins going to be competing with Owens Cesaro, who are going to be competing with Ziggler versus Rusev because Ziggler always likes to compete. And it's just going to be a highly competitive show from a match quality standpoint. I know it's going to be a great show no matter who wins.
Yeah, and the thing that I have to say is I did have some reservations about WWE moving SummerSlam to 4 hours, but with them making this show feel as, or with them at least wanting to push the message that this show is, you know, huge and it's as big as possible, I do have to say that the build-up did rise to meet that ambition. So it's like the work that they put in, it's commendable. You know, I have enjoyed the build-up to SummerSlam, and I say, shit, good job, WWE. So, yeah, let's see if you can prove me wrong this Sunday with the actual show. Evan, you have anything to close with?
I am looking forward to this show. I think there is something to prove with the 4-hour format, and I think there's a pretty good card here, and the build-up is no question better than the last couple of years' worth of build-up. The last 2 years of SummerSlam were good shows, but with not good build-up. And I'm hoping that this one we can get it all connected here with some solid build-up.
Yeah. Don't flip it now.
Yeah, let's not have a bad pay-per-view here. I think this show has the capability to go quite far and can do some really good things, regardless of what happens. And, you know, whether or not the predictions that we come up with come true or not, as long as they can find a way to make this entertaining in some way, shape, or form, it'll be a good show. And I think the 4-hour format, there is something to prove for WWE to see if this is going to be something they can roll with going forward as far as SummerSlam is concerned.
Oh, man. And somebody just said TakeOver preview. It's too late, man.
I'm going to TakeOver too.
Oh yeah, you're going to take over too. Yeah.
I wish I was going to Raw so I could do the back to back, but not too much money, and probably Raw is going to suck anyway. It's
I think if you were to pick 2 out of the 3, you picked the right 2. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting though to see how the setup for TakeOver is. I hope it's not like a main roster clone. I hope that NXT still retains some of its, you know, some of its identity, even though you're gonna like expand it and there are gonna be thousands and thousands more people in the arena. Like, I'm hoping that it's not a situation where it's like, oh well, we're just gonna take the regular Raw set, and it'll be yellow for NXT, but that's probably what it will be.
You know, and speaking of competition, man, this is where the real competition can get even more hyped up, with NXT wrestlers competing with the main roster, trying to give everyone so much to talk about on Saturday that, you know, SummerSlam, the SummerSlam competitors, the main roster guys, are going to be competing that much harder just to overshadow that. And then you got guys like Kevin Owens who have double duty here and gotta take care of both nights. So it'll be a really, really cool weekend. I think this is very fun weekend for wrestling.
Yeah, and I remember it was one week where WWE did a takeover special the same week as their main roster pay-per-view, and people loved takeover and shit all over the main show. So like we're in a situation where you have to make sure the little brother doesn't outshine you. So I guess that probably does give them a lot more motivation to put on a good show.
I think it's not going to be that situation because NXT is kind of losing its dudes right now. Like, Sami Zayn's injured, Hideo's injured, Owens is phasing out. They only basically have one match on there that's going to have the potential to steal a show. Whereas last time we were talking about like 3 separate matches. And also the Divas match. They lost the Divas as well. Although they do have a Sasha Banks versus, was it Bayley? Yeah. But still, you know, they're kind of losing their dudes to the main roster.
Well, shit, I guess that's one solution to the issue. You know, if NXT is putting on better shows in the main roster, just take all of the people from NXT and put them on the main roster.
Well, I mean, to me, that makes the most sense. But, of course, the main roster doesn't use them as well.
Alrighty, guys, that is it for this episode of PWF Empire Live. Make sure to check out PWTR this week. It's going to be coming on, I believe, Friday. They're going to be doing their Last Mark Standing big special show, so check that out. I believe David will be making his return to PWTR, so if you didn't tune into the show just regularly, I guess that's a big incentive to tune in this week to see the return of David. And thank you guys for tuning in to PWF Empire Live. We'll catch you back here Sunday night following SummerSlam with our post-show review. Until then, peace out.